occasionally it's very, very low. And sometimes it's loud, not obnoxiously loud. I don't know that it's like significantly different. My mind has habituated to it to where it's just some noise back there that I don't really worry about at this point. It took a while to get to that place, but yeah, I'm to that place now. It really doesn't impact my life in any significant way at all for the last number of months.
All right, guys. Mike is a graduate former patient at Treble Health. Mike is going to share his journey of improving tinnitus. He did participate in our program. That's how we got connected. He volunteered to do this. We asked him, and he said, I would love to share. His initial tinnitus functional index score on a scale of 1 to 100 was a 63 out of 100. His most recent score on that 1 to 100 scale that we measured was a 20 out of 100. So that suggests that his tinnitus improved more than 50%. Mike, that's exactly what we want to talk about today and hear what happened for you. We want to use this time to give hope, to give information and encouragement to others. So, Mike, give us a quick introduction. What do you do for work? What's one hobby that you have?
I have been in higher education most all of my life, both teaching and administration. At this point, I have transitioned, and I'm actually I'm pastoring a church in our area and doing some writing and other things I didn't have time to do when I was an educator for 30 years. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, and at this point, I guess with regard to a little bit of history about me. This struck me very strongly. It was December 22 that I had started to take some blood pressure medication. And I had done some blood pressure medication about 5 to 6 years before that. And it started with some light tinnitus, so I just stopped. But this time, blood pressure was more significant of an issue. So I kept taking the blood pressure medicine and kept going downhill until I had contacted you and your company somewhere around, I guess it was January, February. It got so bad that I decided I needed to do something.
Let me jump in here. I want to ask a series of rapid fire questions, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, very good. So when this first came on, how did it affect you? What parts of your life were affected the most?
My first wife passed away when I was 40. As depressed and as dark a place as I was there was comparable to the place that I was at when this tinnitus set in. I have never been, again, I didn't have to take medication when my first wife passed away. I had to take Klonopin, Trazodone. I was in the darkest place I can ever remember in my life. And part of the problem that you mentioned is people say, well, I have tinnitus too. I got a little sound in my ears as if nothing's happening. It was a very dark place. Yeah.
Hey guys, quick interruption from today's podcast. If you're dealing with the day-to-day stress of tinnitus and have been told there's not much you can do from other doctors, I want to let you know that we offer a free consultation with a specialist from Treble Health where we can discuss your tinnitus case and offer some potential solutions. See the link on the screen right there where you can book a free call and get help from a specialist who can take the next steps in finding relief. Click the link right there. Now, back to the podcast. Clearly a serious problem.
Yes.
One of the most serious problems you've had. What did it sound like? Ringing, hissing? What did it sound like?
Okay, and it was unilateral. It was only in my left side. It was more probably staticky, I guess, like just static and those types of things. No chirping, no anything like that. Just mainly staticky. It would change though. Sometimes it could get to a high pitch ring. Even to this day, it's just I've been habituated now. I mean, but I still have the sound. I just don't notice it as much. It'll change. It's very strange. It changes.
Okay. And then when you started working with us, talk to us about what tools did you use that eventually did help you get better? What were the tools or techniques that you did find relief or help with? Everyone here is looking for things they can put into action. So talk to us about what ended up working for you.
I think one of the big things just emotionally is to get connected. For me, Sarah Matthews was the audiologist I talked with. That was incredibly helpful to me to talk with her and for her to just tell me it's going to get better. because it was uncharted territory for me. I thought if this is the rest of my life, this is why some people I have been in panels that about tinnitus, and some people feel like they felt like they should kill themselves. So just having somebody tell me that it'll probably get better was in itself important. But I think probably one of the most significant things was the masker, the Phonak masker that I got, the sound therapy. That really helped because it took my mind off of the ringing in my ears and put it on something else. And you would talk so highly about it. I watched a number of videos, talk to Dr. Sarah about that. That was very helpful. And at night, that's where everybody says it gets worse, and it does. Sound machines, that was incredibly helpful as well. I guess that'd be the three things I think. Well, the emotional support, letting me know that there is hope on the other end of this, the sound therapy through the daytime, and then at night, I guess you'd call it sound therapy too, just the noise, something that I could hear that could take my mind off of it.
All right, so let's talk about those in a little more detail. In addition to the support by your audiologist who specializes in tinnitus on our team, Dr. Sarah, in addition to her giving the encouragement and the hope, did you also try any other techniques that were maybe more psychological or more cognitive? Anything that you want to share there?
I listened to, and I haven't in so long, is it your 7-day or 8-day meditation that was out there. I listened to that. Meditation really did help me as well. And I forget, I've been on the other side of this for so long now. I forget you had somebody that you had recommended and you had interviewed at some point, and he had some things that were geared toward meditation. I listened to those as well. So meditation was a big part as well that I used, I guess, that helped me, emotionally, psychologically.
Let's talk about that for a second, because when you get better, it's usually not just one thing. With our patients, we find it's usually a comprehensive approach. You're highlighting some tools that everyone here listening should take note of. Literally take a paper out and take notes. Because if you're not utilizing these tools, but you're having these thoughts of, I've tried everything, there's nothing I can do, but you haven't actually implemented these things well, you haven't done them according to a protocol or with a guided professional, then this is a clear, obvious next step for that thing that you can try. So, Mike, talk to us a little bit about each of those things. You said guided breathing, and what sometimes is called meditation, guided breathing, that worked for you. Can you talk to us about what exactly you felt differently after implementing that?
What I remembered, and I played it multiple times. I don't know if it was session 4 or whatever, on the guided breathing or whatever that you had mentioned. And you mentioned at one point, okay, listen to your tinnitus and kind of talk to your tinnitus. And that was really helpful to me because I addressed the tinnitus, because typically I was so afraid of addressing the tinnitus. But I actually began to think about it and focus on it. We spend all our time not focusing. And I just remembered in the context of quiet meditation, to do that kind of made it like the Wizard of Oz experience. There's somebody behind the curtain that you're afraid to look at, but when you see it, it's not as bad. So that helped me. I listened to that one a number of times. And again, I think for me, why it helped is because I could hear it in the context of quiet and peace. And I had been used to meditation in other contexts before. So something I was used to, but not in this context with tinnitus. So.
Okay, thank you so much. And then the devices, sound therapy devices on the ears, how did that work for someone who has not tried that? What exactly does that entail?
Yes. Okay. So, and I could tell you, I mean, it was not immediate, like within a day or two, but it was pretty quick within a week or two. It really de-escalated my anxiety to where I was still anxious. I was still having to do Klonopin, but Dr. Matthews, Dr. Sarah, she helped me adjust it to right where it needed to be and the certain sound it needed to be. And you can explain it better than I, but I think it trained my brain not to listen to the tinnitus, but to hear this other sound. And so the tinnitus just became a non-threatening noise that simply over time I became habituated to. And so, that was incredibly, all the other things were helpful, but that was equally as important as anything that I did, that the sound therapy with the device. Yes.
Okay. If anyone listening wants to try that, you can reach out to us at Treble Health. We can help you with that. direct you towards next steps. And let's talk about your success or your treatment. People are hearing your story and they might be skeptical themselves. They might be saying, Mike, you
Yeah.
you still have tinnitus. Is it actually softer, quieter? What actually happened? So talk to us about that.
You know, my I I'm a mystery. I was just at the doctor last week and I've got some other issues. And he says, Mike, it's a mystery. I don't know what's going on. So my tinnitus was probably about the same as the other medical issues that I have. Um, it would get loud, it would get soft. There were actually some times where I couldn't hear it, where it was quiet. This last week, it's becoming louder again. It just doesn't disrupt me. I might think about it once or twice a day because it comes back. Not doesn't come back. It's always there. It's just for some reason it requires my attention. But I don't have to put the masker back in or have to do anything. I just get focused on something else and it becomes, in essence, white noise. So I know that early on, the idea that maybe the tinnitus would actually get lower in volume. I suppose it is sometimes still, it just fluctuates. Sometimes, occasionally, it's very, very low. And sometimes it's loud, not obnoxiously loud. I don't know that it's like significantly different. My mind has habituated to it to where it's just some noise back there that I don't really worry about at this point. It took a while to get to that place, but yeah, I'm to that place now. It really doesn't impact my life in any significant way at all for the last number of months.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And when we first spoke with you on our team, we had you fill out a comprehensive questionnaire, and
Yes.
the areas that were the most impacted were, in your specific case, were sleep, emotional distress, sense of control, and relaxation.
Yeah.
So how did those change over the course of getting better?
Everything got better. I mean, it's night and day. Yeah, I would say my anxiety level again. I had to go. I'd never been on medication for anxiety or anything. I'm just not an anxious person typically, and that went away fairly soon. Took a little while, and being able to function and to work, I was that as well. Was a little quicker. Sleep that took a little longer because I guess it's quiet when you sleep, and even with the earbuds in and everything else, it took a little longer, and I was on medication a little bit, some trazodone to help sleep, but that eventually got better. It's been probably it was February of 23, this 20, it was probably I'd say 6 to 8 months, and I was pretty much in those areas headed in the right direction. I would still say on the stage issue, I was probably stage 3 at that point. It took me a while to get beyond that. But yeah, all those areas now, I mean, my life is pretty much normal. If you saw me, I wouldn't draw attention to my tinnitus at all at this point.
Well, so the theme of the summit here is long-lasting relief from tinnitus is possible.
Oh,
We're not here to say it will happen for every single person. That's not the case. It does however, for a majority of patients that go through the right kind of program, they do get there. So it sounds to me like you have this long-lasting relief where it's just not a part of your life much anymore.
no, I hear it once in a while, but I mean, I have friends that have tinnitus, and then when I was going through this with them, they say, "Oh, Mike, when we talk," I had a counselor who's a good friend of mine. I just meet with once a week in a group that we talk, and he says, when you mention that to me, I start thinking about mine, but then okay, then it goes away, and I suppose it's like that for me at this point. If somebody said, "Hey, is your tinnitus actually? Can you hear it right now?" If I listen, so like right now, I guess I can hear something, but it's nearly mute. At some periods of time, however, just in case people are going there, if it gets a little louder at times, I would think, oh no, it's never going to get quiet again. It's up and down for me, but at this point, even when it gets louder, I still it doesn't impact my life that much. I can get my mind focused on something else without having to use a mask or anything else. And so pretty much my life again is I'm so thankful back to pretty much normal. Yeah.
Well, it's worth highlighting a few things. Number one, people who are listening should not expect the exact same path as you've gone.
Yes.
Tinnitus, the reason why many doctors don't know what to do with tinnitus is because it's not a cookie cutter treatment or condition. It needs to be personalized for the things you do, when you do them, and what type of treatment you undertake. So just wanted to add a disclaimer. Anyone listening, we can use Mike's case as hope and encouragement, but don't fixate on how long it took him. His tinnitus fluctuates and it's in one ear. A lot of people have constant ringing in both ears that doesn't fluctuate. So just want to highlight that. Mike, we have some questions coming in. We'll get to those in a moment, but generally speaking, what is your advice for people? Let's look at people who have had bothersome tinnitus for at least a few months. They've tried a few things, whether with doctors or on their own, but they're looking for more. They don't want to live with the intensity they're currently having in their ears. What's your advice for that kind of person? What did you learn on your journey?
Again, it's going to sound like a commercial. Best thing I did was contact Treble Health. That is, I do not know what would have happened. I suppose over time, maybe years, I don't know, maybe it would have gone away. But that's the number one thing I did that was helpful was contacting Treble Health and being able to talk to people which it's very interesting to me because I know that Dr. Mayhew just spoke, Dr. Matthews both had tinnitus. So you're talking to people that this isn't a theory. I've been in education all my life, have a multiple graduate degrees. So I know the knowledge and the mind about things. You need something where somebody's walked the path that you've walked that just don't have some type of esoteric knowledge. So that's one of the things I really appreciated and following what they did because I would get kind of frustrated too because there are these testimonies about period after a couple, 3 months, some people who are feeling like, wow, life is getting back to normal. And I was going 6, 8 months and I was better. I was certainly better, but it wasn't normal. And there were questions, my wife and I mean, would we ever be able to go on vacation? Could I enjoy life again with our grandkids and those types of things? So I think just sticking with it and doing what I got into a series again with Dr. Matthews, a series of appointments. And that was incredibly helpful because we could check in and we could just talk about what's happening. And she could reassure me, again, like you just did, there's no specific thing that's going to happen. There's not a pattern, but yeah, you're making some headway in this and that and the other. And that's kind of what I needed. So I'd say that's probably the most helpful thing for me was just sticking with what she was telling me and doing the things that she suggested.
Thank you so much. Mike, we have our first question. It's about sleep. How was your sleep affected by tinnitus and what tools helped your sleep?
Sleep was bad, really bad. I mean, I would try to go to sleep. I had to sleep in a different room than my wife at that point. It was because it was too disruptive. She didn't care. She would have done whatever she could do. I just didn't want to disrupt her, but maybe an hour and then it would wake up and I'd be up for, I don't know how long with the noise. And even with sound machines, it was difficult to get it. The one thing that helped me with that, though, was I remember you saying at night, just turn it up loud. It doesn't matter whether you hear your tinnitus or not, because I know with a master, you're still trying to hear it. And so that did help. But it just took time. I did take some medication. I don't like to take medication, but I did take some that the doctor prescribed because I just had to get some sleep. But it was a struggle. It was a struggle for some time, probably for a few months at least. But now it doesn't. It just doesn't bother me much at all. I can hear it at night sometimes when I get up, go to the bathroom or something. I'll come back and I'll hear it. But I still have my sound machine. I play that all the time anyway, and so I'm able to get right back to sleep. I still just go back to sleep, even though I can hear it sometimes. So it's not impacting my sleep really now at all, I would say.
And then some other questions on, did you find the cause or the root cause of your tinnitus? Any advice for people kind of stuck on that part of it?
Yeah, and that was the thing that there was also suggestion to track everything you eat, everything you do. I followed that for a little while, and that was not helpful to me. That's like going down a rabbit hole that just makes you focus on it all the time. They never did figure out, and I still to this day can't figure out on the day when my tinnitus is louder, what is it that caused it? I don't think as much about it because it doesn't bother me as much, but I do think back, and there's nothing I ate, nothing I did that seems to trigger it. For me, I am convinced that it was the blood pressure medicine, although the doctor couldn't believe that. But I know because, again, the very first time I took blood pressure medicine, that's the onset of it initially. I stopped quick enough, so it was very mild at that point and just sporadic. But when I started taking it again and then stayed on it, so that's what brought it on. I know for me, I don't know why. I don't understand all the ramifications of that, and the doctor couldn't explain it. My cardiologist, fortunately, he just said you can just go off it if you'll do some certain things about your diet to keep your blood pressure low. We'll do it that way. And unfortunately, I'd been too long taking the blood pressure medicine. So, but that's what did it. I am convinced. I just don't know why it did it.
Thank you so much. You've really shown us that, hey, even though when this tinnitus is not solved by other doctors, it fluctuates, it seems to have a mind of its own. You're really struggling with it. You're losing sleep. You found a professional, in your case, us. You found a professional that could help you. You followed a protocol. You did get better. So this is really important. And if this helps at least one person listening, which I'm sure it helps hundreds, then I hope it's worth your time. So thank you so much for being here.
I just want to say one final thing because
Just the final word, Mike.
Yeah,
it's all yours.
yeah, that's it. I felt hopeless. I honestly felt hopeless, like nothing would work. And I know there's people that feel that way. I got to tell you, there is hope. And you just have to hang on to that. There's hope. So I just want to mention that because that's what I needed then, and I know that's what a lot of people need.
Absolutely. And we need that reminder constantly through the journey. So thank you, Mike. Hope to meet you in person one day. You've been enjoyed. Have a great rest.
Thanks for all that you've done. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
You are so welcome.